Are you telling me that Hristo is scared of me?
Yes.
So you're saying that Hristo is intimidated of me?
Yes, he is.
Did you just say that Hristo was intimidated by me?
Hermes definitely
So you
said
think
that.
Hristo gives me unfair treatment in a positive way?
Well, he doesn't want to, but he has to. That's how Hermes Gasparini should have answered these questions. But forget about Risto being intimidated by Devon. Even Hermes Gasparini, sitting thousands of miles away, even on a camera, feels intimidated by Devon Larrett's presence. I already did a video discussing Hristo Delitjakov's refereeing in the Evgeny Prudnik match. That was a couple of years ago. Big 12-minute video, over 1,000 comments under that, and people really appreciated the things that I had to say there. So let's get to this topic. What's the recent topic here? First of all, I'm really thankful, I'm really happy that these legendary arm wrestlers are taking some time out from their busy days to discuss the rules of arm wrestling. But unfortunately, combining these three interviews between Neil Pickup, Engin Terzi, and Devon Larrett, maybe they discussed the same topic for about 5 hours at least. But unfortunately, the conclusion in those interviews was precisely zero. They did not change any rule, they did not even talk about potentially changing some rules. They did not discuss anything valuable. Well, I shouldn't say that. They discussed a lot of valuable stuff, but they did not find any valuable solution or any solution for that matter. And that's what pissed me off, because whenever the conversation was going in some good direction and it looked like, well, maybe something is coming up here. And at that time, Engin Terzi was like, yeah, that's an important topic. We have to discuss this when we get together here. Bro, why not now? You just organize this meeting to discuss rules. And whenever something positive comes, it takes a good direction, you're saying that we'll have to discuss that. So you are ready to discuss all of the irrelevant things now, but not the relevant things? How does that work out? Somebody please explain that to me. Anyways, after watching these interviews, yes, I like to take some funny jabs at Neil Pickup many times, but after watching these interviews, my respect for Neil grew a lot, because that is one person who knows the rules of arm wrestling throughout. Usually, we just assume that all of the referees must know that because they're reffing at WAF or King of the Table or East versus West, but it isn't like that. You know that your math teacher, who was qualified just like these referees are qualified, there were some questions that he didn't know the answer to. And the same case is with the referees. Most of the referees will miss a rule or two that they do not know anything about. And even in this interview, simple topic in referee's grip, what are the body parts that you are not allowed to move? Is it upper body? Is it lower body too? Only right hand, left hand too? Both Engin and Devon didn't have any clue about what the rule is. So the thing is definitely confusing. And one more thing that I didn't like confusing about these interviews is that they didn't even say for once that first thing to make the rules clear is to write the rules down, which I've been saying for a couple of years now, more than 2 years. Nobody mentioned that, yeah, we should at least write down the rules. When they're discussing the rules, they should have some reference, but they don't. That's the sad part. Anyways, let's first discuss the highlights of the Neil Pickup interview with Devon Laird. Devon was visibly upset, almost worried, sad kind of mood, because both Engin, well, not both, three people actually, Travis Bagent and John Brzezinski himself accused him of cheating in arm wrestling matches. He did not like that. Devon mentioned that once he's arm wrestling for his country, at least his countrymen should support. By countrymen, he meant the Western athletes. They should support him and not try to paint a picture against him. Devon gave a few reasons for that. He said that they are trying to run a narrative to devalue my record, my career, and my accomplishments. They're targeting me to draw negative attention against me to impede my success. So, as John was posing some serious accusations against Devon in the previous interview, Devon is also doing something same here. About Travis, he said that Travis views me as an enemy, he's jealous, he lies a lot, and even if Devon is doing something wrong, he learned that basically from Travis Bagent himself. For John, he said that it really hurt him when John called him out like that. It shouldn't have been that way. But John Brzezinski also does the same. He also takes as much advantage as he can or as he needs to, because most of the time he doesn't. He's so dominant with his hand control. But he also takes the advantage wherever he feels like taking the advantage. And now he's also lying by saying that bravery is to not take any advantage in the setup, because he also does not do that. And about Engin, Devon said that as an arm wrestling promoter, Engin shouldn't have said any of those things. How can I expect fair treatment when a promoter is clearly outlining his distaste for my arm wrestling style, when he's clearly talking about how he would have more harsh rules against me? So this was like not for promotion, not for fun. Devon does not have the like itch to just force himself into these 2-hour interviews every single day. Looks like Devon is doing them. He had to clear a point. That's why he went on to discuss this topic, because it bothered him a lot. Ultimately, they want to see my failure, and instead, Devon wants them to support himself. And that is what's not happening as of now. So one thing where Devon kind of lost me, and Jodie Laird, by the way, I absolutely respect that woman, because she tries to support her husband wherever she can, but sometimes she does the exact opposite of that. In that Neil Pickup interview, she was saying that, let me emphasize the importance of start, a ready go in arm wrestling. In sprint, 100-meter sprint, and in swimming, see how important the start is. Tell them that they shouldn't be like really into the start and shouldn't go as fast as they can. So basically she was saying something like that. And I was like, these are the exact opposite examples that you should be giving in this situation. Why? Because I have been giving these two examples to prove the opposite point of what Jodie was saying. In these games, you also get disqualified straight away for a false start. So include that too in arm wrestling and see how that works out. Right now, we don't even have a foul for a false start. We have a warning. So no, arm wrestling start is clearly not as important as the swimming start, because here you have a dozen options to do false starts in a 6-round super match. You can do a dozen false starts probably and still win the match. Maybe even more than that. I've not calculated that. But in swimming and sprinting, you have one option, one chance, and you're gone. So poor example. And one more point where Devon lost me is the round 1 discussion of the Levan Saginashvili super match. He mentioned that he didn't even move, and the first round of a championship match, biggest match in the world, he was given a foul even before the match started. Well, that's how the rule works. Devon thinks that it shouldn't have been a foul, but he was already on one warning for moving in a referee's grip. He moved a second time and he got one foul. And this is what he said: don't be giving me warnings. We haven't even started the match. Devon, that's exactly what the warnings are for. Because once the match starts, there are no warnings. There are only fouls. There was one warning to like get out of the arm break position or king's move position. That too right now I think is a straightaway foul. So after the match starts, there are no warnings. Warnings are to be given before the match starts. How can you expect the referee to not give you warnings before, because the match hasn't even started? And don't you yourself say that the match starts before the ready go? And now you're saying that don't give me warnings because the match hasn't started when the referee is about to say ready go. So it was kind of confusing. Both Engin and Devon didn't know what the rule is about movement in the referee's grip. What can you move, what you cannot move. So I'll read it out to you. An early movement with shoulders, arm, hand or fingers will be a warning unless competitors are in a referee's grip. Then it would be a foul. So they've changed it for East versus West. Even in a referee's grip, it is only a warning, which I don't think makes any sense at all. So shoulders, arm, hand, fingers, these are the things that you cannot move. So basically we can say upper body, because there is no separate movement for the chest only. You have to move your entire body to move that. So that's the rule. I'm kind of confused that it says arm, because I'm quite sure I've seen, because for shoulders they've mentioned shoulders in a plural manner, and for arm they have just written one arm. But I've seen fouls being given on the other arm as well, other hand. If you move the fingers that are holding the hand peg, it is a foul. So it's the entire upper body. I don't think they have mentioned it correctly in this thing. So Devon was asked if he doesn't cheat, then why his matches are 35 minutes long, why all of the matches in which he's included takes a hell lot of time more than compared to other arm wrestling matches just to start the match. Devon said, show me where the fouls are. I don't think that's the right answer. That's exactly their point, that you are taking too much time, and still there are no fouls on you. That's the whole point against Devon, and he's refuting that by saying that show me where the fouls are. Engin even mentioned that once they give you fouls, you complain about that, you start fighting with them. So the only solution to that is, first of all, write the rules, make them more clear, make them easy, but make them more strict. This is what Devon agrees with too. And just tell the referees they don't need to be scared. They are waiting for one signal. You tell them that I don't care if he's fouling. If the super match pay-per-view event crashes, people are mad because the contender fouled out, Devon Larratt fouled out. I don't care. I'll be taking the heat, not you. I don't think Engin can say that to the referees, and then see how strict the referees can be. And then there will be more fouls on Devon or on whoever the person is doing those fouls. That's the biggest issue. If you're not pushing the rule system to its maximum, you're an amateur, you are a novice. Kind of a weird statement, but I have to agree with Devon on this thing. If we look at it, there is no fault of Devon. We should always blame the referees, and sometimes like this one, maybe even the promoters. I'm kind of sad that they did not invite me, because I was definitely more qualified to discuss this topic. I have prepared for this topic more than any of these three guys on the stream. Maybe Devon should do an interview. I'll ask him if he's interested in discussing this topic even more. But man, clearly it's kind of sad that they did not come to any conclusion. They did not seem to be knowing what they are talking about. As harsh as it may sound, it was the truth. Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe.